the tip. 4Outdoorsmen.
Zepp's Playland tonight.
Yeah, back in, guys. Oh, that's right. I've got a sound effects machine tonight. I didn't think about that.
Oh.
Might have to play around with that. I don't know what any of that.
I don't care.
I don't think we're licensed to have that voice on this podcast.
God.
Welcome to the 4Outdoorsmen on liveandsocial.com. We have most of our outdoorsmen here tonight. Vaughn, Papa Boomer, will be our fourth outdoorsman tonight.
He is. So, it was a beast, let me tell you. It was tough.
Oh, yeah, I think
you
I've got
should have
that
seen the
around
spurs
here
on that thing.
Absolutely. Our great white hunter in tonight with us.
You shouldn't talk about your date like that, Dad.
She was a beast.
And, of course, we're missing our good producer, Mark Lukey, because Mark Lukey and his lovely wife, April, just had a baby, and their second child today. So congratulations to those guys. Apparently everything's going well, although you guys didn't speak with Mark today. I spoke. Yeah. There you go.
I don't know the name.
It's going to be Steve.
Steve?
Yeah, I'm the
Steven?
I'm the Godfather.
Steven or Steve?
It's just going to be Stefan. It won't be Stefan. No, I don't know.
Could it be Steve? Stru Lukey?
It's Stephen Boomer Lukey, I think is what it's
From now on, call me Loretta.
Anyway, Mark told me that he has not been feeling well like you, Boomer. I know Boomer's doing well right now, but Mark went into the doctor yesterday, found out that he might have whooping cough. And if he's got whooping cough, he can't see this kid for 5 days.
I thought that was something only the babies got.
I don't know. So anyway, he was going to have the results sometime this afternoon. Hopefully that went well, so he can go to the hospital and check out his kid, and hopefully we can see him Sunday at my house for a little get-together, a little Christmas get-together.
I don't have a cough.
No, that's Mark watching the birth, right? That's
it.
Oh, no, wait. What I used to use for the old birth.
No. And as a result of that, Mark couldn't even be in the hospital. His mom and I think mother-in-law were at the hospital for the birth of the baby.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you guys.
Way to go, Mark.
How was your week, Boomer? I haven't seen you for a while. You've been sick.
What? I've been... Sorry. Let me move that garbage can over after that. But, you're pretty good, feeling good. We're starting to make some ice out there.
Where?
30-something degrees. There's some ice in northern Minnesota. There's some bays that are starting to freeze
There's
over.
some guys floating around out there. Yeah, I know all about that.
Devil's Lake has some ice out there, and some of the runoff lakes. They have 5 to 8 inches. I know Stu and I were going to head out there, but Boomer Doomer came into town, and now they got a storm coming in, so we're going to do that film and media event later. But
it's going to be in January,
my buddy Rick Digger said he's headed up to Red Lake this weekend. They don't have ice up there. That's what I told him. He said he was going up there to punch a hole.
They've got
in a bar wall, maybe.
Yeah, they've got some ice up there, but I've been seeing some things where it gets thin in some spots, so I'm going to wait off a little bit. There was, we at the St. Paul Ice Show, I think there was like a foot crack from shore, and then it got 15 feet, so I'm not really sure. But I tell you what, for you guys and girls that went to the St. Paul Ice Show, that place was packed, man. People were jacked. No one was just excited about. Everyone was pumped about ice fishing. There was a lot of cool pros out there, a lot of great seminars. Drew, you made it out on Sunday,
and
right?
I bought some stuff. Yeah, I did. It was there wasn't as many people on Sunday.
Did you really buy it?
I bought stuff, and I'll tell you about it after the show. But anyway, I talked to all the guys, the Clam Boys and the Ice Team guys, and Jiggy was there with his wife, and finally met his wife. Very attractive, nice lady. And they said Saturday was the most successful day anyone's ever had at the ice show, ever. It's not only numbers of people, but the amount of money that people were spending.
They were buying.
They couldn't ice fish. They had nothing else to do. So why not go to the ice show?
I was at the clam booth, and I can't tell you how many people we were shuffling over to Thorne that were buying houses, accessories. Because when you go to a show like that, people are wheeling and dealing, right? And I tell you what, something I think is going to be really popular this year, that's been popular the last couple of years, and I love using it since my back went out, is those drill sets. Like a drill set plate that you can use where you're just using your cordless screwdriver.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't have to haul around the gasoline. You don't have to spill it on your house, which I did that 2 years ago, on a brand new X2.
Luckily, you don't smoke.
Luckily, I don't smoke. But I tell you what, I decided that I cleaned it off and it would be fine. And I took Sophia out on a local little secret lake. We'll call it Lake X. Oh, it was awful. I aired that house out all year.
They get pretty fumy in there.
Yeah.
You got to...
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, that's
Boomer was talking about he and I were going to go to Devil's Lake with Tanner, Tierney, and the gang out there for some kind of a media event, and here comes the weather again. They have some ice, and they were going to put us in some smaller lakes that were adjacent or hooked up to Devil's Lake.
I saw a cold front is coming. Well, we have a massive low pressure system that's been creating some wet weather for us. We haven't had any snow out of this particular system, but the cold stuff is on its way.
Well, Tanner told me, what a tough job they're being. It's like being a farmer. You live and die by the weather. So anyway, they called it yesterday. They said, listen, we can't do it. Here comes the weather. It's not going to be great. We're going to try to reschedule. And then they got to call all these people and they have to change their schedules. For me, it's not a big deal. But Tanner said, geez, it reminded me of the movie. Reminded me of the movie Kingpin. You saw the movie Kingpin, right?
Yes.
When the Amish guy says, oh, man, I think I've been Munsoned. Remember that part?
Munson.
I got Munson. Well, Tanner said we're going to change it to Boomered because every time Boomer and I set up a trip, something goes wrong, and he says, here we are. We've been Boomered again because
usually weather
here
related.
goes the weather.
But you know what? Every time we get fish out there, don't we?
Yes,
Stu?
we do.
We do get fish.
All right.
Hey, you know what, Zepp? I was thinking about you on the way in here. I was talking to my buddy Craig Euler. He runs a cool organization called Iceaholics Anonymous, and he is an ice team guy out there, but he fishes in
Anytime
the black.
you hear anything that ends in holics, you just think of me.
But he fishes in the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Oh, does he?
And up there in the hills, and he said they got about 5 to 8 inches of ice out there, and he's been chasing some lake trout out there, and they jig for him out there. And he said it's nothing like jigging for those big lake trout when in deep pockets in that place in the Black Hills. I've never done it.
They have a great trout fishery out there and a little chapel right next door. A lot of people choose to get married over there. It's really rather beautiful. And I've not ice.
Is that where you're going to get married, Zepp?
Yep, that's exactly where I'm going to get married next time. Look for your invitation in the mail. Wait by your mailbox and don't leave till it gets there. But I've never jigged out there. But the Black Hills are weird in that it's its own weather system. We called it the banana belt growing up because most of South Dakota is like North Dakota. The wind just comes rolling across the plain. But South Dakota having some terrain out there with the Black Hills in the middle of all that prairie creates its own weather system. So it gets weird out there. They have winters out there where it doesn't even hit the freezing mark, and then others out there where you get literally 6 feet of snow throughout the winter. But yeah, I didn't know that people did a lot of ice fishing out there. They've got Pactola and trying to think of a couple of the other lakes that I've recreated out there and fished at out there. But, yeah, cool.
You know what I'm pumped about, though? I am going to get out there in April or May this year, and I'm going to chase some Merriam turkeys. Greg is inviting me. Apparently, that's just loaded with Merriams out there.
West River, South Dakota is known for its turkey hunting long before we started talking about it here, I think.
Boomer's going to go for the Grand Slam, aren't you,
I'm gonna try. I got a Rio, and I got a Eastern under my belt.
Sunday I had a chance to go to Turtle Lake and spend some time with our buddy Billy Moles because Craig Munson, our buddy Craig Munson, who you guys all know, wants to go to Alaska. So we spent Sunday, we had an hour and a half with Billy talking about Alaska and what hunt would be best for Craig Munson. He can do elk. I mean, he could do caribou. He could do moose and a couple other things, but not even grizzly bear. But he got all excited about. I want a 60-inch moose, and he said it's not a problem. We're going to catch. It's 50-inch minimum where Billy Moles hunts in Alaska. He said if you think it's even close to 50, we're not going to shoot it because we're going to get you a 60-inch rack. And Craig says you're the man. I want to go with you. I'm all set. Can we go next year? And Billy Moles said he's booked through 2018.
Yeah.
Through 2018.
Jeez. BillyMolesAdventures.com, the modern-day mountain man. Well, it's, that video series is pretty popular.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, he's just the kind of guy that you want to go out hunting with. He's down to earth, patient. I don't know if you guys watched many of the modern-day mountain man
I've seen
DVDs.
2 of them.
Yeah, I've watched about 4 or 5 of them, and I just he's a guy you want to hang out with and go hunting. He's patient. Different hunters get rattled, especially when they see a big 60-inch bull moose or a brown bear within 100 yards. They get a little rattled. He's just as cool and as calm as can be.
He told me that probably 90% of his business is repeat business, and they're out there every 2 years. So there's some people out there who have a lot of money who go out and hunt big game every 2 years, and some guys go almost every year. Now, on the way out there, before we started the show, Zip, I was telling Papa Vaughn and Boomer that since I had an hour from my house to Turtle Lake, I thought I'd support AliveAndSocial.com and listen to one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
We have 30-some podcasts on AliveAndSocial.com. Of course, I chose the Great Northern Sex Cast, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's pretty graphic stuff. I mean, it's not for kids by any means, but I'll tell you what, I bought something for you called Gyration Sensation. and I ordered that for you. I'll let you know when I get it. Should be yeah, there you go. That's about it. Yeah. So it's a brand new item called Gyration Sensation, only $22, and this is part of your Christmas present. So you can use that, baby. I tell you, it was wonderful.
Hey, you know what? Speaking of some famous guests
Sorry.
we've had on the show, you're talking about Billy Moles and the success he's having. So I lost my breath with that last sound effect. What about Benny Spies? I think he was up for a big award for Sportsman's Channel. I don't know. There was some voting going on.
I went on and voted. I shared it, actually, on the 4Outdoorsmen Facebook page, and got my vote in. And it's a lot. I mean, it's all of their awards on the Sportsman Channel, so you got to kind of sift through all of them. And I placed a few votes that I had no idea. Just like in an election.
Yeah.
I don't know who the heck I'm voting for. A judge. Yeah, sounds good. I like that name. Sounds like my kind of guy or gal. But yeah, I got it's for Sportsman Show of the Year or something like that, I believe.
I tell you what, his last show, I watch it all the time and tape it, and we communicate back and forth, was really, really good. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, a lot of action, and sometimes he just makes fun of himself as well. He realizes life is not all that serious, neither does being a TV personality or a hunting celebrity. He just has a lot of fun. He likes to laugh, and he's my kind of man.
Yeah, and he makes fun of it. He's self-deprecating.
Yeah.
He'll take shots at himself, and and I love how they kind of give you a peek behind because they'll set up a little skit.
Yeah.
And then they'll screw it up, and he'll just sort of leave that in there. And every once in a while, about every third episode, he'll shoot something.
This last one he shot quite a bit.
Actually,
did you happen to see the episode about, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago or whatever? Well, I forget where he's going, but the person who's going to be his guest hunter owns a hotel or something. So he tells everybody in the hotel, all right, a young man named Benny Spies is coming in. He thinks he's a big shot, all right? Yeah. So pretend like you know him.
Right.
You see that?
His producer was running in and right as he'd walk into the room, they'd go, Benny, we've been waiting for you.
Free cup of coffee and oh God, he thought it was really well done.
Well, I'll tell you, he
really
got
well
up there,
done.
and I forget which duck he ended up getting up in his big northeast hunt.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Part of this season as well, and then his mule deer hunt out in West River. I don't think it scored out, but it was a mounter. He took it right in there to Fort Pierre to get it mounted up. But a couple of beautiful mule deer out of West River this year. So unlike some past seasons, I think his reputation was starting to catch up with him because we're razzing him a little bit and saying, are you going to shoot something this year?
Yeah.
And he's turned up the hunting dial a little bit and went, I'll show you how it's done.
If you didn't see last week's show, watch it. Now, Benny Spies...
Harlequin was the duck that he got out in.
Yeah, the Harlequin.
Oh, well, that's a one-duck season right there. That's a trophy tag right there. That's a lifetime bird. So he got, so he went out and got the Harlequin and a couple of others he checked off his list.
If you go for like a Harlequin, too, that's like a $5,000 guided hunt. I mean, that's a big
for
deal
one bird.
For one duck.
Well,
not for me, pal.
Well, it's that's one of those you get your duck book out, and that's the tough one to cross off, and it's a lifetime bird. It's a trophy bird.
I thought a Harlequin was a whore.
Augusta. It'd be like you golf in Augusta.
It's the whore of the duck words. Yeah,
yeah,
right. It would be like So you plunk down the big doe to get the big. It's like going up and hunting with Billy Moles.
Well, even though
or pheasant hunting with Zepp.
Even though Benny Spies
Still
is not one of
for
our
that free trip,
Mr. If you got $5,000 you want to spend on a hunt with Zepp out for pheasant, I'll set you up. We'll leave right now. Here in the middle of the broadcast, we'll leave.
I was going to say, even though Benny Spies is not one of our sponsors, check out Gun It with Benny Spies. He's a good guy in Fox Sports. I'm not even sure what time, but I tape it. Who knows what about. Speaking of sponsors, what kind of sponsor we got on this show, buddy?
Well, we talked about Visit Devil's Lake, so we want to give a big shout out to them. They just rescheduled that film and media event, so we'll be out there in mid-January. Mm-hmm. And then want to give a big shout out to the boys and girls out at Lakes Trading Company out in Forest Lake, which my dad, you ran into him at the gun show, right? Yeah, ran into him at the gun show. They were rocking and rolling. I think it was Ben, and Dad had a conversation with him, and I think you bought a gun from him, right?
What did you get, Vaughn?
Savage Model 99.
Oh, did you really? Lever
From
action Savage.
1912.
What caliber?
30-30.
A 30-30. Son of a gun. That is a classic.
Dad showed me the gun. It was awesome. It even had like Zepp and Strew. It had like a little brass counter near the magazine that would tell you how many shells you had in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it had like a little pin that came up on the top to tell you it was cocked and ready to shoot.
Lakes Trading Company, right?
Yeah, Lakes Trading Company.
Cool.
Wow.
And we can't forget
Coors Light.
Coors Light,
which we're having a couple right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Blue 42 Media. When you go check out our Facebook page, give it a like, give it a share, and please on Alive and Social, you're listening to our podcast, maybe you grabbed it on iTunes, go ahead and brag about it. You can tell your friends you know us personally.
Facebook.com/The4Outdoorsmen or listen to us live at www.the4outdoorsmen.com.
If you want one of those fancy pages for yourself, go ahead and punch in Blue 42 Media.
Now, since our producer, Mark Lukey, is not here tonight, how are we going to contact Vicki Valeri? Who's in charge?
We're going to give her a call right now.
Are you the man?
You want me to dial her up?
You do, yeah, do that. She's waiting for us
Just
right now.
tell me her number. No, don't say it on the radio. Can you come around here and punch it up?
Well, no, but it's right there.
Okay, what do we got here? Which one?
Do we have a little elevator music while we do
the
this?
763.
We are a well-greased machine, my friends.
Valeri, Vicki is the event coordinator of Midwest
Yes.
Ski Joring, right? Is that what it's called?
Ski joring, yes.
Ski joring.
We're going to explain
Your
to you
eyes
what
are
that is.
twinkling during this music, by the way.
Yeah, well,
Stu.
anyway, she's going to talk to us for about 15, 20 minutes about that. I think it'd be fun. In fact, Zepp said he did it years back.
With a horse.
Behind a horse, and that didn't go very well.
No, it didn't. Broke my nose and busted up my teeth, but I kept all my teeth.
There you go. Here she go. This is...
Dun, dun, dun,
We'll have to get her some more appropriate music.
Yeah.
Hello?
Is this Vicki Valeri?
Yes, it is.
Hello, Vicki. Welcome to the 4Outdoorsmen. Sorry, we're goofing. We have a sound effects machine. You, unfortunately, joined us for our first podcast with me doing sound effects, and could be a disaster.
That's
welcome,
dangerous.
welcome to the 4Outdoorsmen podcast. Thanks for joining us this evening. Now, it's true. I should let you introduce Vicki.
Well, Vicki and I spoke a couple of times. She's with Midwest Ski Joring, right? Ski Joring is what. Which is a hard name to say when you're sober, and we're drinking Coors Light right now, Vicki.
Sponsor.
One of our sponsors, we have a right to do that.
We have to.
But Vicki's I believe, the event coordinator or event director of that group, and has been doing it for many, many years. At first, to us who don't know exactly what it involves, explain what it is, explain your background, and tell us what's going on with Midwest Ski Joring.
That was my bad.
Hello?
That's right. Go ahead.
Ski joring is a sport where a person cross-country skis behind a dog pulling them.
Behind a dog?
Mm-hmm, behind a dog.
Just a dog, or do you get a team of dogs?
Usually for ski joring, it would be 1 to 3 dogs.
So now you're on cross-country skis?
Yes.
Those things are narrow. That seems like a balance issue.
That sounds like a knee problem to me.
That sounds like getting pulled over in my face and breaking my nose again.
Yeah.
Vicki, I had a chance to do some ski joring down in Leadville, Colorado, many, many years ago, and where they pull you behind a horse. And you do some different things. They have jumps there in town. You do it right on Main Street in town. And then they also, with the rings, you've got the pool cue there to get the rings. And I did a little jump and landed on my face and broke my nose and busted up my teeth pretty good. So right away I'm thinking about balance, and I'm thinking about those very narrow cross-country skis and getting pulled by a small team of dogs, and that sounds very tricky.
It can be. The dog needs to be very well trained, and a person should know how to ski fairly well.
Yeah. And be sober.
And that helps.
Is that drinking and driving if you drank and
Yeah.
ski joring and the dog was pulling you?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Vicki, how did you get involved in that? You've been the event director with Midwest for about 10 years, I think you mentioned. How did you get involved in this?
Oh, just through some friends.
Well, that was not much of a long. Give me a longer sentence than that. I mean, were you involved in cross country skiing downhill? Did you? I've heard of it before. I never really researched it much. But you just don't wake up one day and start doing this.
I actually hated winter.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured I'd better find a way to make friends with winter and figure out something to do. So the president of the Ski Jour Club, Jim Benson, is an old friend of mine, and he actually got me involved in running a sled. And then from there, I just got into the Ski Jour Club, and now that's what we do.
Now, how many clubs are there around the Twin Cities? Is it very, very popular? Is it growing? What is the status of ski joring clubs?
Oh, the ski joring is very popular around the cities, and from what I understand, I believe there's only one club in the Twin Cities here, which would be the Midwest Ski Jours. There might be other ones out there, too. I don't know.
How many members?
We average anywhere between 30 and about 150. It just depends.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's after I read about this, I'm not a big winter fan anymore. I'm 64 years old and I've done it all. And Zepp's a huge skier. Boomer, our third host here tonight, is a
Doesn't
huge,
have a clue on how to ski.
No, but he's a hell of a fisherman.
Yeah.
And he does everything outside. And these guys live the outdoors. I don't snowmobile. I ice fish once in a while, and I don't downhill ski anymore because it's the knees and
I think we found something for you,
I
Stroh.
think I could do this, and I think
With his little flask.
I think that would be fun. There you go. I think that would be fun to try. Is there tell us about the cost involved in starting this?
Well, you have to have a dog.
Okay.
And then for gear, usually what we recommend is come to one of our training sessions, and you'll use our gear, and we'll help you get started. So then you don't have an expense until you're sure you want to do the sport. And then once you're sure, it's going to be an initial investment of between $100 and $300.
Don't you have
Well,
like events or exhibitions or something like that where someone like myself can go out and just try it? Because I don't have a dog.
Yeah, let's go watch.
I live in a townhouse, and I'm not going to buy a dog. I want to do it, but I don't want to buy a dog. Now what do I do?
Is sugar available?
Yeah, I got. My dad's got.
You'd probably have to ask me nice, and I would let you use one of my dogs.
Okay. No,
But it's not something that we generally do.
I'm just trying to gauge how seriously you take this. Does anybody do they bring their lab out? Or because, dogs, generally pulling dogs, are your huskies and those sort of dogs, they're bred to pull. They want to pull. I'm just thinking, if it's one of our labs back, he would, as soon as the thing got tight, he'd be going, well, I'm not pulling you anywhere. Are they huskies? Pulling dogs?
Oh, any dogs. As long as the dog, we recommend about 35 pounds.
Yeah.
Or larger, but pretty much any dog can be taught to do it. And
Yep.
there's training involved. You can't just hook up to the dog and say run and off they go. That's not how it works.
It just sounds really awkward. But fun. It sounds a lot more challenging than I think some people are thinking, because I do like to ski and I do like the Nordic and Alpine ski.
I think it'd be fun.
And and a dog pulling it sounds really tricky. Do you have competitions?
There are competitions, yes. There's numerous races around if we have snow.
Yeah, really.
Probably the biggest one and the easiest one for people to get to would be the Lopet.
Oh, yeah.
Like Lopet, and it's a Chuck and Don's ski joring Lopet race. And that's February 5th through the 7th in the Twin Cities down here. And that's, if people are interested, they can always go there and watch that race and talk with them.
And where do they do the Lopet at here in the Twin Cities?
It's out in the Twin Cities. I think it's like on Lake Harriet.
Lake Harriet, okay.
Out in that direction.
I could just see me, Vicki, thanks for being on the 4Outdoorsmen, Boomy here. And I could just see, Zepp made a comment about Sugar, and she's my Springer, a pheasant dog. I could just see her trying to pull me, and then like a rooster jumped out and taking me right into the cattails, into the slough.
Bird! Fetch ball!
Back! Dead bird! Hey, Vicki, on a serious note, and I apologize if you already said this, do you use just normal skis, or is there a special ski you use for ski joring?
No, you can use either skate skis or regular cross country skis.
What are skate skis?
Skate skis it's a type of cross country ski. There's I'm the old man that just does the old get in the track and your feet go back and forth.
Classic.
You see those people that are throwing their legs out and really burning and going fast, and those
would be you.
They're skate skiing. I'm not doing that. It's. But it's so those are skate skiing is a bit more aggressive, and it's a little bit different of a cross country ski, but it's still very narrow and kind of tricky.
Vicki, do those dogs just go all out? Do some people have these trained dogs where they're just full sprint and people are right behind them?
Yes, that's we actually Jim Benson and I have a racing kennel. And so, especially him, he's a world championship competitor. Mm-hmm. And our dogs are trained. We actually get at least 200 miles or more on them before race season starts. And when he races, he goes fast. They go as fast as they possibly can.
Holy cow, yeah. I'm looking at some images here of ski joring, and it's basically a horse or a dog pulling you. It looks like you have that option here in the cities, using dogs. Some of these people, because I was wondering how it works with the poles, if you actually have a harness or do you just kind of hang on like you're water skiing, but it looks like you do just sort of hang on to their harness and they're towing you. So they're not going to drag you if you fall over.
Oh, yeah, they will.
If you don't let go.
That's part of the fun of it.
What?
Actually, the gear that we have is the dog has a specialized harness, and it's a dog-powered sports harness, and it's made specifically for dog-powered sports so that they don't injure themselves, and it cradles them, so you wouldn't want to use like a walking harness for them.
Right.
And then there's a tow line which connects the dog to the skier, and the skier wears a ski jaw belt, which is a
Oh, I see it now.
type of a belt that goes around, basically around your hips to keep your center of gravity low.
Yeah, so they will. I mean, you are tethered on there. That's not something you're getting out of if you're falling and they're pulling.
No, and that's why you teach the dog whoa.
Still working on that. Put a collar on them.
These local clubs, Vicki, that you talked about
Okay.
in the competitions, the Chucks and Dogs, is there like a national tournament then after that and then an international?
All right, this guy's got chihuahuas in this picture. That's not. I mean, come on. He's just goofing around, I think.
Oh, that might be our mini mush. We used to put on a race called the mini mush, and it was for the tiny dogs. Oh, It was so much fun.
Yeah, that looks
they
like.
probably don't pull you very hard, but they sure get out there and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet they look cute as buttons out there doing it as well. So what? I mean, how often do you get together and do this? Clearly, we're not doing it yet here in the metro.
Well, we try to get together usually about once a week in the
Yeah.
wintertime, just because our winters are so short. But we also will do it like in the spring and the fall when it's not real hot out, and then we just do dry land, so it's not on skis or sleds. It's either canicross, which is running behind your dog,
Yep.
or we use things like a kick bike.
Okay.
Or regular bikes and things like that.
Not
So
like the
there's,
ski
we use
blades.
wheels.
I saw the guy. I was jogging around Como today. He was out on his ski blades. You ever try those?
Myself, I wouldn't do it, but some people are. They have better balance.
Could
than
you
I do
snowboard
and are
behind
more, they're not adverse to losing their teeth.
Right. Well, it's a Boomer just asked if you could snowboard. Now, ski joring, some of the what I've seen it done with horses, they have tried and used snowboards before. I don't think in these particular clubs you have any snowboarders out there because it's Nordic skiing. Well, now, this is kind of crazy. I'm looking at this. Looks like something. I'm a South Dakota kid that we might have tried to attempt, but these guys are skiing behind dirt bikes. That's amping it up.
You could probably do that too.
Yeah, well, I guess just if you don't have a horse or a dog handy and go fire up the old dirt bike, you could probably. Now we've done it before out west. We used to call our snowmobiles poor man's helicopter, and they'd pull you up on the snowmobiles occasionally if you didn't just jump on the back. But it just looks like, and like you said, you were introduced to it and coaxed out to do it because you just hate winters. I have so many friends each winter that I try and convince to just come out and do something. I take them out for a little bit of skiing, or we'll do some snowshoeing, or snowmobiling, or a little ice fishing, something because we can. It may not have happened this year, but on a good winter here in Minnesota, I mean, you're talking about a solid 3-4 months out of the year that we're going to be frozen in, and that's a long time to sit inside.
You may as well embrace
We
it.
could have
right?
used those ski joring when we were in Gogebic. Remember that?
You'd be
It's true when we had.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much fun you have out there. And, Vicki, I'm sure you'll agree, the cold disappears when you're having fun and you're being active. Yeah, standing outside in the cold is cold. But if you're out doing something, I never think about it, A, and B, you're being active, so that generally warms the bod.
Is there an average length of time, Vicki, that you're out there? I'm thinking, when you're with your dog, do you ski jor for typically an hour at a time or 30 minutes, or people go longer, or what's the length or distance?
It depends on what they want to do. I would say probably an hour or more.
I bet the
You wanna
dogs
give your
love it.
dogs exercise in that. And if it's really cold out, you can also put a dog jacket on your dog if you have a short-haired dog.
Yeah. I suppose a lot of them probably have the mitts on. A lot of times we'll use them in hunting as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Guard their paws.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, the booties, yes.
The booties. And I bet the dogs love
booties?
it. I bet it's, think about your dog as well, that dog that you're getting out and you're taking for a little walk on a leash, and they want to run and they want to have some fun. I bet they just absolutely love it. We used to, unbeknownst to us when we were a kid, we had Cody, who was half husky and half German Shepherd. He had a mean streak in him. But we learned as young children, Cody would pull that sled, until he got too big. But he would pull that sled, and we had a heck of a lot of fun, and Cody really loved it. So I bet the dogs, it's just a great bonding thing with your mutt.
It is. It's fantastic. I think that's probably why we do it, and we've been doing it for so long, is that it just is such a great experience for the dog to be able to get out with its person and get exercise in the wintertime and fresh air, and just, it really creates a tight bond. The dog responds to voice commands, so you're very bonded with your dog. It really takes the companion pet to a deeper level.
You bet.
Hey, we're talking with Vicki Valeri from Midwest Ski Joers Club. Vicki, when I've got an opportunity, I think, in a couple of months to do dog sledding up in the Boundary Waters, and I'm looking forward to that. And every time you see the Boundary Waters or people dog sledding, it just looks so serene and so peaceful. Do you ever go out by yourself and just do it with your dog all by yourself and go over different types of terrain? And what kind of terrain can this dog take you?
The dogs can take you over any terrain if they're well trained and if they're muscled. They have to have their muscles. You can't just take them out and run them to the Boundary Waters and go out and do a 200-mile trip around up there unless they've been, gotten their exercise first.
Okay, so the Twin Cities then is a good place for you to do this because there's tons and tons of trails around here, right?
There are a lot of trails. We've worked really hard to get ski joring trails, and on our website at skijor.org, we do have a printout on there that you can print out as to where you can go with your dog.
I imagine, like the off-season training, we've had some bear grease experts on the show and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine, Vicki, do in the summer or the spring or whatnot, do people go out with like a pair of rollerblades and train their dog and run around the lake and kind of rollerblade a jor, or?
Yes.
Stop.
It's called roller joring, and
Roller.
then there's also there's like sulkies for dogs. It's just like the horse sulkies, but they're smaller. And then there's carts and rigs and scooters, the kick bike. So we do a lot of sports with our dogs.
Yeah, I'm on skijorg.org right now. You've got some videos on there. Everybody's loving it. Yeah, the dogs are really digging it. Is this a track? Do you guys sometimes race around a track? Or No, that's just
generally no. It's a trail that we take.
Yeah, that's a curve in the bend. Is that you with your dog in the picture on the top of the website?
No, that's not.
In the bikini?
What,
Vicki,
definitely not.
You didn't graduate from Hibbing, did you?
I did.
You're not a fan of Jameson whiskey, are you?
Oh, I am.
Okay. I had no idea. Yeah, you don't remember me. It was a year. We lived together. Well, I don't want to.
Okay.
Broke my heart,
I was
but
really into the Jameson.
no, I Googled you and I see a shot of Jameson there and Hibbing High School class of. So yeah, rock and roll.
But Zepp is a big Jameson.
I do
fan,
like my
Vicki.
Jameson.
Yes, he does. Hey, Vicki, you talked about Jim Benson as being a very, very serious competitor. How long are some of the races that he does, and does he compete nationally?
He has competed nationally and internationally.
And how long are some of those races?
Generally, the Skijor race is about 4.2 miles.
Yeah. No, that's reasonable.
And it's because it's a sprint race, so it's very fast. Although there is distance racing.
Okay, what's a good time for a 4.2 mile Skijor race?
I think he does it in about 9 or 10 minutes.
Holy buckets!
That's
15 minutes maybe. That's fast.
It is fast.
And then there's some of us that do it in. I usually train the B team, so I have the puppies and the newer dogs that I'm training, and my time is usually like 18 to 20 minutes.
All right. It seems like it's easy to get hooked into something like this. I talk about trying to resist myself, resist from getting involved or even trying something because I'm afraid I would love it.
Yeah.
And there's one more thing that I don't have time to do, but it just sounds like so much fun.
I see a lot of people over I live in the Como area, and they've got some great ski trails over there. And, people get their dogs out. It just seems like a great way to interact with your dog. Get out, get a little exercise, and just with like-minded people, sort of have fun and screw around. If you're kind of have a knack for it and your dog has a knack for it and you make a great team, then there's even some competition, which always amps it up and makes it a little more fun, like our NASCAR ski racing,
Fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Vicki Valeri, our guest, why don't we go ahead and give everybody the information? Maybe somebody's listening and they've got the pooch and the cross-country skis leaning into the corner of the living room there, and they'd like to come out and join your club.
Okay, they can find us at www.skijor.org, and we are the Midwest Ski Joers Club.
Skijor, and because she's on the phone, let me go ahead and Skijor, skijoring, skijor.org. Pretty cool stuff. Well, we'd like to come out. So where do you often find yourself ski-joring when you're just kind of out goofing around doing it?
Oh, usually up north.
Oh, usually up north. Okay.
Yep, we usually go up north. Or
I was just
Boy,
wondering.
she keeps that a secret, like if
or-
someone asked me where we're catching fish.
I was just wondering
On a
which
lake up
trail
north.
I should be cross-country skiing down with a bottle of Jameson hanging out.
Hibbing and hibbing.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, no,
Zep-
Bunker or Baker has a lot of trails. And like I said, we have trails that are dog friendly. You can't just go on any of the cross country ski trails with your dog.
Yeah.
You have to. There's only specified ones.
If you see anybody ski joring with the St. Bernard and a couple bottles of Jameson on each side, you know that's going to be
Then you know who
Zepp.
it is, right?
That's
Yeah.
Brian Zepp.
I'll
Yes, it's Brian Zepp.
actually be riding the dog. So that's,
Okay.
Thanks, Vicki. Well, I tell you, it's been a great experience. I tell you, it would be kind of fun to follow up and
Yeah.
maybe meet you February 5th through the 7th at the Lopet. I think that's, you said, Lake Harriet.
down here in the big city.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fun
All right.
stuff. Fun
Yeah.
stuff.
All right.
All right. Well, Vicki, thanks for taking some time for the 4Outdoorsmen tonight.
Well, thank you.
Be well and happy joring.
Oh, we'll have to get you guys out. Thanks.
I'd love to. Thank
Take
you.
care, Vicki.
Bye-bye.
Does sound like fun.
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just, I can imagine like one of Dad's labs or Sugar just
Yeah.
hauling me through the slough.
Yeah. Right.
Painful. I need a jock strap on or something.
Yeah.
Tung, tung.
You know, but it's a lot less expensive than downhill. It's a lot less expensive than snowmobiling, right? You know, and
Nordic skiing is generally cheaper than when I say Nordic, cross country skiing is generally cheaper than downhill skiing. So yeah, I mean you can get a.
I would like to see it. I've never heard of it before. Stu sent the email out about ski joring, and we had Vicki on the show. It'd be
one of those kind of cool, fun things to get out and try and do. And I don't have a dog either, so I just try to stay up on those things. I've only recently decided to try cross country
could be
skiing.
a first.
let
date
me do
kind
some
of thing.
research, boys. Let me do some research. Let's. I want to see if there's any ski joring at near that bar in Wisconsin where that lady was a big buck hunter. We can kill two
Yeah.
birds with one stone.
Right?
Speaking about killing birds, what was that bomb that just went off in the studio? Jeez, Dad. Oh,
He's an
come
old-
on.
He's old.
That's steak and onions.
Hey, we're going to
Venison.
talk to Tony Roisen here in a couple of minutes here. Tony Roisen is from Now Then, which is in Anoka County.
Yep.
He's a Lions Club member, and which is kind of fun because I'm a Lions Club member in Matamita.
Good organization.
Lions. Yep, good organization. And they're going to have their 7th annual fishing tournament this year on Twin Lake in Anoka County. And that's in February sometime, and I think Boomer's going to sign up for that baby.
You betcha. We're talking
but,
fishing.
7 years in a row. So finally we'll get somebody on who knows something about fishing. But
Hey, well, I'm always
Hey,
here to
they
learn.
opened. I see a walleye season opened up here about 15 days ago, a while back. Just since we have Boomer on up in Mille Lacs right now.
Yeah, we just got to
first
wait
time in
for
a
a
while.
little more ice out there, and
Yeah.
it's kind it's
But, I
great
mean-
for the economy up there to get the walleye season back open and to get some folks out there. And I know
To be
it's
clear, you
only-
don't have to. I mean, the season opened December 1. You don't have to wait for the ice if you wanted to get out there when we had those 45, 50-degree days. I guarantee you there's some people out there doing some walleye fishing.
You betcha. But on a serious note, as much as we talk about Mille Lacs and
Yeah.
the at least you can target walleye right now because Mille Lacs is still one of those lakes that's close to the cities that you can haul some monsters through the ice. You can get a 27, 28 inch, and those walleyes when we were out there and we were targeting smallmouth bass and a couple walleyes just happened to hit. They were healthy looking walleyes. So I think people are going to have some good luck on Mille Lacs this year.
it's a good sign.
Well, guys, the clock's ticking. Shall we call our next
You
guest?
bet. Call Tony.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's talk some ice
Hand me
fishing
that
tournaments.
telephone number over here.
Oh,
There's true, man.
wait, well, Tony, with his,
Can
you
we
want
get
a cell
some-
phone number? I'll tell you, it's right there, the 612.
Can we get some elevator music?
No, I've got a joke to tell.
Joke and music?
No, two little kids are sitting in the while Zepp is going to call Tony. Two little kids are sitting in the hospital waiting room. One little kid says to the other kid, "What are you here for?" Kid says, "Tonsillitis, man. I have my tonsils taken out." The kid says, "Man, that's nothing. They put you to sleep. They take your tonsils out. The next morning you have ice cream. It's wonderful. How about you?" Kid says, "Circumcision." Kid says, "Oh man." He says, "I had that done when I was a baby. I couldn't walk for a year." Yeah. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Thank you very much.
Man is in the house.
I'll be here all week.
All right, let's dial him up here.
I had to keep it
I
clean.
can tell Zepp has the controls because I'm dialed down to 1 out of 10 on the volume.
I had to keep it clean because I thought Sophie was going to be here today. How's Sophie, by the way?
She
Bo?
is doing great. I'm so excited for Christmas. Got him some special gifts coming along.
Not that I don't enjoy Christmas. I'm done with my Christmas shopping. My daughters are grown. It was 2 electronic transfers. That's all that. Dad, I just say, no, we know what to get ourselves. So I miss the little girl stuff, when you had the tree and she still.
This is Tony.
Tony Steve Straczynski from the 4Outdoorsmen. How are you, sir? Thanks for your patience. We started late tonight, and the young lady we had on prior, we just had such a great time with, and we learning all about ski joring. I don't know if you know what ski joring is, but we learned all about it. And so we're running behind, but having a good time.
Sure.
Have you ever done ski joring?
Is it, I think it's sitting on one ski.
No. and
with a bottle of Jameson.
I've done that on accident. Now, ski joring would be whether it be a horse or, in this case, with this lady we're talking to tonight, dogs pulling you on skis.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds dangerous.
Well, it does sound dangerous. But I tell you, they have clubs all over the place. It's becoming extremely popular in the Twin City area. And they have ski joring clubs and they have competitions. And it's kind of like dog sledding, only with skis and a dog pulling you. But
I guess
anyway.
It's a great way to meet women that like to drink whiskey.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
We're talking. Thanks for being on the 4Outdoorsmen. We're talking with Tony Roisen. And Tony is with the Now Then Lions Club in Anoka County. And Tony's got a fishing tournament coming up here in February we want to talk about. Tell us all about, Tony, let's talk about the Lions Club up there. How strong is it? How things going there? And then we'll talk a little bit about the fishing tournament.
Yeah. The Now Then Lions started back in 2008. And then I joined up in 2009. So it's a pretty small group. There's like 20, 25 people. Usually it's pretty steady. It's been pretty much the same people the whole time. We get some new ones here and there, and it's been growing, and it's actually been pretty fun.
I've been with the Lions Club in Matamidi for almost 25 years, I think, and it's cool. It's hard. We have about 50 active members in our club right now, and that's about what we have like 70 or 80 that are signed up and they're paying their dues, but 45 or 50 are usually pretty active, which is a pretty good club. Scandia, not too far away from us, is kicking ass, a huge club, and they're fairly new as well.
Is it competitive?
No, it's not competitive. Well, there is contests as far as membership and all of that. You get a plaque and all of that. But,
sure. But
there's so much camaraderie, and we all have the same goal in mind.
Yeah.
The hardest thing for our club, as well as I'm sure any club, is getting young blood in there because everyone thinks that the Lions wear these funny hats and have these funny handshakes or something like that. It's hard to educate the public about exactly what the Lions clubs are all about. But
try a video game tournament.
With the young blood.
Yeah, great organization. Talk about the fishing tournament now. Our goal.
Hey, before we talk about the fishing tournament, so people learn more about the Lions Club, and hopefully some of our young listeners can get involved, Stu, with you or Tony. What are some of the organizations that the Lions Club contributes to?
Go ahead, Tony.
Well, up and now then, we pretty much try to stay as local as we can.
Right.
We will always work with our local schools. So for us, it's St. Francis, Anoka, and Elk River. So like kids with graduation parties or, for the school, they'll come and we make them give a presentation to us, which is kind of the cool part. Get the kids up there, and then they'll have to come and give us full presentation on what they want to do and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
We have purchased equipment for our local Now Then Fire Department.
Right.
We helped with the park, actually the East Twin Lake Park that's there. We helped put in a softball field in there, and then there is also a frisbee golf course there, soccer field. So yeah, that's been really pretty good over there. We also do a lot of work with the blind. There's a leader dog for blinds and
right.
can-do canines.
Yep.
In fact, that was when I very first came in to do one of the meetings just to check it out for my neighbor. I got to sit there and watch a local resident came in fairly young and was going blind. So we helped, or that group prior to me joining, helped sponsor him to go out to Colorado to live for 3 or 4 months with a dog and the whole ball of wax. I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
so that was really kind of what. So I'm like, yeah, I want to belong to this
cool.
group. So
it's hard not to get
really neat.
It's hard not to get emotionally involved, and we're also involved in hearing quite a bit right now. And our club also in the last couple of years bought an ambulance for the volunteer fire department. So
Wow.
So so we raise a lot of money right now. We finally swallowed our pride and started raising money through gambling at Jethro's in White Bear Lake, Matamidi area. And we tried to resist against gambling because gambling is not good for a lot of people and all that. And all of a sudden we are making there's a lot of money involved in gambling.
Welcome to the
lot
state.
of money involved in gambling. And
Yeah.
so we're having trouble right now giving it away. We literally are. We're always looking for organizations.
If you've figured that out, then you can
Amazing.
help the Vikings with their pull tab controversy.
We already
to fund
have.
the new stadium.
We already have. You weren't on the. Hey, listen to this, Tony. And we'll talk about this just for a second. I mentioned this last week on the air. And funny, Boomer. That was Boomer Stelmack, who's our third one of our other co-hosts tonight. But we just found out that I understand that about 35 to 40% of our profits from gambling at Jethro's has to go to the general funds for taxes for the state of Minnesota.
Yeah.
Recently,
55 million.
the state is asking for $50 million a year from charitable gambling for 10 years to go toward building that stadium. From charitable gambling, they want $50 million a year.
After it's almost completed now.
Yeah.
It's too late for the voters or for legislators to say no. And there's a lot of controversy with that. But, the state of Minnesota, who is sitting on a $1.8 billion surplus now, finally, remember for years in this state, forever in this state, there was resistance on both sides of the aisle to allow any public gambling money into the state coffers, and as soon as they acquiesced to that, they filled up fast. So it's amazing how you can't get people to pay taxes to save your lives, but they will give it freely. In
I still like
suitcasefuls.
the fact that the smokers pay for a lot of the stadium, and they're not welcome.
Well, the smoking tax.
As well said.
I've never seen anybody, any state, try to give away more smoking tax money. I'm like, good Lord, what would you do with all that tax money? Well, they'll trade it off for another vice, gambling. So, the upside is you can do a lot of good with that, and that's my experience with the Lions. I've done. We all have done a lot of charity events, but I do a lot of events every year, and I'm surprised how many times, I'm not surprised how many times when I get there, the Lions are behind it. Yeah. The Lions funded this. The Lions worked it, provided all the volunteers, and that's my understanding of the Lions, when just out there providing, doing what you want to see happen in the private sector.
Give you an example. This last Saturday, we'll get to the fishing tournament in a couple of minutes here, Tony.
The fishing tournament, the 4Outdoorsmen.
But last Saturday, last Saturday, my wife and I and some members of the Wildwood Lions helped the White Bear Lake Lions Club, because White Bear Lake is really big, very, very active, and they distribute toys every year, thousands of toys every year. They collect. They start today collecting toys for next year, and then they find out through some process who deserves them, who can't afford to buy toys for the family. And then we had about 35 families an hour come through for the 3 hours we were there and to help pick out toys for people who are less fortunate. And people don't hear about that stuff. It's a great, great organization. Now, speaking about fundraisers, your fishing tournament is going to be one. The Wildwood Lions Club,
What's it called?
The fishing tournament or
Yes.
the Wildwood?
No, the fishing tournament he's got going on.
Well, hang on. I'm doing my job here.
Can we get some baby?
No, but the Wildwood, here goes the tears. Yeah, that's the crying. But the Wildwood Lions' biggest fundraiser is the annual Sportsman's Dinner, which comes up the first Monday in March.
I love that.
And it is so much fun. It's $80 a ticket. We think they sell 250 tickets max, and it is a huge fundraiser. What is this? Now, your fundraiser, the fishing tournament, is this your biggest fundraiser?
This would be one of our biggest ones.
All right, let's talk about it then. Tell us all about the fishing tournament and when it's going to happen and how to go about it.
Well, this one is our 7th annual, and this will be February 6th, Saturday. Gates open at 9 o'clock. Fishing starts at 11, and our last weigh-in is at 2 o'clock. And it's been actually pretty fun. I've been involved with this one since the beginning. And our first year was, a little rugged, and we drilled like 60 holes and, got a bunch of people, and it was actually pretty fun. Well, now last year we ended up drilling over 300 holes.
Good for you.
and it has grown just crazy every year. So last year, for instance, above and beyond the cash, so it's like $250 for the biggest fish, and then $100, and then $50. Well, then we do also raffle. When you buy your ticket, it's a $10 ticket, and it's $10 per hole. So you can do multiple holes, but you have to buy a ticket for each hole.
All right.
What lake is it on again?
It is East Twin Lake Park, and that is just about 5 miles maybe northeast of Elk River, and that's up on County Road 22, which is Viking.
Oh, yeah.
That's also the name of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually a really nice little park. It's probably several 100-acre lake. You know, there's water skiing on it and the fishing. And they've got a whole beach set up there, and softball and soccer and frisbee golf, and I mean there's shelters. It's really quite a lovely park.
Now, Tony, my guess is you're not going to limit as to how many people you will welcome to do this fishing tournament. How do our listeners contact you to sign up for this fishing tournament? Or do you have to sign up in advance?
Nope, we don't need to sign up in advance. We can go to we've got a local Facebook for the Now Then Lions.
And that is?
But yeah, really, we can the main way we really sell our tickets is right there at the gate. Just come on in, and right when you come in, you'll see our little setup for our food and a table, and then we also have some raffle items. So last year we actually, for $2 a ticket, we did a Vexlar FL8. So that actually was really successful, so we figured we might even throw in a few more different items. You know, it's like a $2 raffle ticket, kind of all-day thing. You know, and we also raffle stuff off all day long, and then we also have grand prize winners. So last year, the first grand prize was a 32-inch flat screen TV.
Good for you. Yeah.
And then second place was a gas ice auger. And then the third place was a portable fish house. And then the rest of the day, we usually give out local prizes. Like there's a local Mansetti's Pizza. They're usually real generous. And then we'll get, actually one of the real nicer prizes last year was a septic cleanout gift certificate. So that was...
I could have used that about a half an hour ago.
Exactly. So, yeah, we've really gotten some great gifts. So we'll give those away for pretty much
Tony,
2 or 3 hours.
Tell the dates again, would you please?
I'm sorry?
Tell the dates again, the date of the tournament again.
The date is Saturday, February 6th at East Twin Lake Park. Like I said, just about 5 miles northeast of Elk River on County Road 22.
And if any of our listeners want any more information about it, go to the Now Then Lions Club Facebook page. They'll find all about it and go out there and have a good time and raise some money for charity. All right.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's one of our best events, and it's been a lot of fun to be with.
Thank you for your volunteering and doing the stuff you do to Lions clubs. I know how important it is to the world, and I'm part of it as well. And it's fun to be your brethren. So thanks for doing this.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for being on the ticket the ticket outdoors.
Oh!
We used to be called the Ticket Outdoors. Now with the 4Outdoorsmen. But thanks, and this will be a podcast tomorrow. We'll get it out there to the world for you guys. All right.
Thank you so much for the time. I really
you
appreciate
bet, sir.
it.
Thank you.
Take care, sir.
What a great show, boys.
and girls, that was a lot of fun. That just flies by, doesn't it?
Ski joring. Let's go ski joring.
Ski joring. We'll do that out on the ice the weekend of February 6th for the big
ice fishing, too,
I
with
know
this big tournament coming up.
We need some ice. Colder temps this week. We don't know if they're going to last, but the temperatures are dropping, so we should start making some ice any day now. Thank you for checking out the 4Outdoorsmen podcast on iTunes, wherever you grabbed it, aliveandsocial.com.
Or the 4Outdoorsmen.com.
Yeah, go ahead, Stu.
Now, do you tell Mark or do I tell Mark that we don't need him anymore? You did a hell of a job there, pal.
Well, I'm just kind of, getting the hang of it.